So, just minutes after, I think, the panel had handed over, its report to the Speaker of the National Assembly, I was leaked a document, basically, of the President's responses to that panel. And Kathy, I can tell you that it was quite scathing on a lot of things. The first of those is what did the President had to say about Arthur Fraser, as part of his responses. And I'll read just a few extracts from that, Kathy. He says that I submit that Mr. Fraser's letter to the DPCI, which is the Directorate for Priority Crimes Investigations, is based purely on hearsay. Its contents do not demonstrate that he has personal knowledge of any matters of which he speaks, and his letter, as I read it, is aimed at directing the DPCI's inquiries. With respect, Mr. Fraser's letter does not provide proof of his allegations. Kathy, I think, a very strong response there by the President, basically outlining to the panel that whatever charges that Arthur Fraser had laid against him or had brought against him were in fact based just on hearsay, and that he had no evidence to prove what he had said. Secondly, Kathy, he also said about the EFF, for instance, that he's entitled, the President is entitled to retain assets or financial interests where no conflict of interest would arise if these are declared. Critically, in that response, the last sentence of that report, Kathy, he says, I am not on any payroll other than that of the presidency. So, him denying there quite strongly that he is being paid any money for work that he's doing on the Phala Phala farm. He admits, of course, that yes, it is his farm. He is the sole director thereof, but says that he is not earning money from there. Kathy, the President also denied any violation of the Constitution, as well as, the law in this matter, saying that my instruction to the person responsible for my and my family's security was to look into a housebreaking and to determine the risk to our safety and security. This can hardly constitute misconduct and unlawfulness as alleged. As such, my instruction to General Rueda falls squarely within his responsibilities and the mandate of their PPS. And then he says, I gave no unlawful instruction to General Rueda. Finally, Kathy, just before we move on to what some politicians have had to say about this matter, in conclusion, Kathy, this is what the President said. I'm not going to read the entire extract, but again, he says that, the complaints of the ATM, the UDM, and the EFF are based on hearsay allegations. With respect, no evidence, let alone sufficient evidence, has been presented to prove that he committed any violation, let alone a serious violation of the constitutional law or serious misconduct as set out in the Constitution. And then he ends it by saying this, I ask that the panel conclude that this matter ought not to be taken any further. Kathy, so very, very strong words there from the President, and this was, of course, in his response to the questions that were posed to him by the panel when it started its investigation. Kathy?
Of course, there will be a lot that not only political parties, but I think all members of the public who have an interest in the story and who read the report, that they would want greater clarity on. Lukhanyo, really fair for the President to say, he doesn't earn money from the farm. It is his after all, so there is a personal benefit he derives from it.
Yes, Kathy. Look, he's basically saying that he does not work on the farm. So whatever money is generated by the farm does not necessarily come to him. He doesn't earn a salary from it. Now, money may, be shifted onto a trust or an instance like that, but I doubt, of course, that the President would have given any clarity on that. The report that we got, we only got it this afternoon, and we tried as much as we can to read through it, Kathy. Unfortunately, we didn't get through, the entirety of the report, but we did get some of the most critical parts of it. And the president does not say anything really around the issue of whether or not he derives a direct benefit from it. But he did say that he does not earn a salary from it, Kathy.
He's before the NCOP tomorrow afternoon. Are you expecting that this issue is going to come up now that there is an official response from the president?
Look, Kathy, tonight, the National Assembly has assured us that the matter will be put, ATC, which is just parliamentary speak for announcements, tablings, and committees. So that report that was handed to the Speaker this afternoon will be, or this morning rather, will be ATC'd and it will be made public. So you and I will know, hopefully before midnight tonight, exactly what the recommendations of the independent panel are. Tomorrow, when the president does appear before the National Council of Provinces, we do expect, of course, that members of parliament will take him on it, because otherwise they would not be doing their jobs. Although he will be there, Parliament sometimes, Kathy, there are rules and MPs must stick to rules. But I think there will be an opportunity, for MPs to be able to ask follow-up questions, and I certainly think that the issue of Phala Phala is going to be mentioned tomorrow, when the president is in the NCOP, and by then MPs will also be armed with, the recommendations of the independent panel. We don't know yet what this panel has recommended, but MPs will definitely have that tomorrow afternoon when the president appears before the NCOP at 2 o'clock.